Hello and welcome to another video of my NT-ND marriage. I did an experiment. The scientist in me loves doing this kind of thing, and so I just randomly decided at the start of COVID lockdown to do an experiment. I wanted to know how observant my husband is. I mentioned before that I was fit and slim when we met, and he didn't really say anything, and so I'd asked him one time recently had it appealed to him, and he'd sort of said he'd never really thought about it. So I don't think that they see people so much as like their physical attributes, but just maybe they see the person instead of the appearance. That's what I'm trying to say. So the experiment. I decided to stop doing any kind of hair removal. Legs, arms, beard, moustache. Just to see if he would notice. And it was COVID lockdown, so obviously nobody else is seeing me. It doesn't really matter. Now it's a little bit tricky because unless he's around to see said body parts exposed, he's not going to notice. So if I'm not wearing a skirt, for example, how would he notice? So it took a while for it to sort of eventuate because it had to be the right circumstances. Things like us having a bubble bath together. Anyway, 3 months, 6 months, nearly a year go past, and he has said nothing. So I'm thinking to myself, has he noticed and he just isn't saying anything? Like, you know, hey babe, you're getting a bit hairy there. Like maybe he thinks he shouldn't say something because, you know, it might be offensive or tactless or something, right? So finally, we're having a bubble bath together, and I ask him straight out, have you noticed? You know, now when we have a bath together, we sit like with our legs like so. And sometimes I'll stretch my legs out this way, or he'll stretch his legs out that way, so they'll be, you know, sort of obviously seen, is my point. And he says no, he had not noticed. And I was pretty shocked. But at the same time, not so shocked, because my hypothesis prior to the experiment was that he probably wouldn't notice. I know a lot of ladies complain, I don't know if it's a man thing too, but you know, like they'll get a new hairdo or a new hair colour or new something, new outfit, new something, and their partner won't notice, and they'll be so offended. Like, how is he not noticing that I've gone from red to blonde? And having been with my husband long enough by now to notice that he doesn't notice things, my hypothesis was that he probably wouldn't notice. But I had also wondered, if he noticed, would he care? Would it matter to him? And so once he says no, he hadn't noticed, I then kept on with it just to see what would happen next. Now that he knows because I've told him, will he be bothered by it? And he wasn't. He didn't seem to really care. It was one of those things where he's, again, not paying attention to the appearance. It's more about the person. Am I being nice? Am I meeting his needs? That sort of thing. Like, he's not factoring in. You know, it makes me wonder if I really did grow a beard or moustache, would that bother him? I feel like it would, because it would be more obvious. No disrespect to ladies out there who are bearded. I'm just pointing out that in my husband's case it would probably bother him. But I feel like it would have to be something super obvious for him to make any kind of statement, and something that like really bothered him. So I'm guessing leg hair on occasion doesn't bother him. It reminds me of several years back where he came into the bathroom once and I was plucking my eyebrows. And he says, what are you doing? I said, plucking my eyebrows. He says, why? I said, to neaten them up. He says, leave them alone, they're fine. And I'm thinking, of course they're fine, because I always pluck them and neaten them up. So I stopped for a bit as well to see if that made any difference and whether he noticed or not. He never said anything. It mostly bothers me because, you know, they kind of go everywhere and nobody really wants that. So yeah, anyway, interesting experiment. I can imagine that your partners would be very similar, not very observant, not really caring. And if that's not the case, let me know. Maybe your partner is very observant and even judgy, maybe. Maybe they make awful remarks about your appearance and your weight or anything, you know. My husband's not really quite like that. I think he just takes me at face value. Anyway, I just wanted to share that funny little experiment. I thought it was funny and cool at the time. Anyway, drop a comment below. Let me know. Can you relate? Have you done something similar? Would you ever do something similar just to see? Drop a comment below. Love to hear from you. And as always, thank you so much for taking the time to watch this video.